Hey guys, welcome back to Backcountry Workshop. So today we're going to kind of go over survival, bushcraft tools, whatever you want to call it. So knives, axe, and a few other bits. For a little intro, and we'll get straight into it. So, what I'll do is we will, I'll show you the knives that I've got. I'll go like a basic, what you think you should have and what I think you shouldn't have. And then I'll go through what I personally take, and then we'll have some close-ups of each one in the corner. So if you're just starting out and you're thinking, oh, what knife do I buy? If I'm honest, if you're not proficient with it and competent, go for a Mora. These are they're pretty good actually. They're pretty sharp. I'll show you maybe up here with the Mora doing a little bit of techniques. But yeah, they're great for starting out on. Obviously, once you get one, you start thinking, oh, I like these, and you want to buy a little, want to spend a little bit more money, then go for it. Go for the yeah, I need to keep them on. It is too bright for me. Go for a nice knife. I mean, I say this is a nice knife. This is a nice knife. This is an Enzo Enzo Trapper with the micarta handles. I think it retails about 100, where depending where you get that from, 10 to 12. So there's a difference, but actually they're both the same. I just, I like knives, and so I buy other brands and a little bit more expensive ones. So you're allowed to do that. So that's what you start out with, and then they're the two I'd say you can use all the time. So yeah, folding saws, you can buy the cheap ones. In this sort of sense, when I say cheap, that's actually really good, so forget about the cheap price on it. It's well made by a Scandinavian company. Laplanders, God, I can't remember how much they are. I don't think they're that expensive. The reason I got one of these is I like it because I can change the blade. Okay, it's a good saw. What did I have before? I don't think I carried one, and I definitely know what I regretted not doing it when I first started out. But one of these, it's about that big. About that big. I don't know, what's that? So it's got a 5-inch blade on it. When that, I think that's how you buy them because of them. But I've put on a fire cord. Okay, that's for obviously when we go into the fire side, we'll talk about the fire. Great bit of kit. I've just made a little sheath for it just to keep it safe. So they're the two I would say are basic. Okay, that's what you always need. And again, I'll show you footage of them. As we're talking, you'll see footage of like this cutting, and then this being used to make fire sticks, and then also I'll show you how to use it for battening, so how you can see actually how well it is, how it works. So that I would say that's like your stage one kit, as in you're getting to know it. That's great for if you're going to put a hammer cut, clearing all the potential hazards at eye level and just above. They're potentially good for. Obviously, you can only go so far. So yeah, they're your two. And then I suggest an axe. Now, again, we'll show you a small footage. Great bit of kit. You need to maintain these edges. You don't want it the same sort of edge on the Bushcraft knives on this. This is where if you're going to fell a small tree, which I recommend you don't do unless you know what you're doing, in the sense of if that tree is dying but it's coming down, then if you're safe enough and you know how to do it in a survival situation, great bit of kit. This is the Holfter's hatchet. This is again another Scandinavian company. In their line of axes, or bushcraft axes, whatever you'd like to call it, this is the cheap one. They have more expensive ones. You know, you've got grands for books. So Work Street, it has worked absolutely flawless for me, and I've probably had this now, God, 6-7 years. So works an absolute treat. Again, if you're not proficient and competent with it, don't use it. Don't just buy it because it looks great. You know, if you know someone that's got one and they can use it quite well, get around them, learn from them. That's the best thing to do. Yeah, just don't. Simple as that. It's actually quite a weighty bit. It's got a bit of weight to it, and that's good for splitting. But usually this is just for splitting, like the bigger ones, and then to break them down to then use the knife on. Other than that, I don't use that a lot. So, you know, it's again, I'll show you if I've got any within the garden. I'll show you in the corner. So that. So I'll say that's like your stage 2. Okay. I then go one further, or 2 further, so to speak. I then carry this little thing. It's a Tops mini Scandi. Now I carry this is for all my food prep, so it only gets used for food. So if I need to skin, obviously if you're going to skin and then cook, make sure you take any sort of kind of antibiotic, antiseptic wipes with you, so you can give it a good clean afterwards, or you got the boiling water and then you clean it. Okay, but this is my food prep. So for me, or the Mora, it doesn't matter. That's my working knife, so that can get dirty. Obviously, I always clean it out before I put it back in the sheath. That's a good tip. But it's my working knife. This is my food prep knife. And then a Full Raven. Is it Full Raven? No. Falconer. That's it. Falconer sharpening stone. Always carry one of those. These are Scandi grinds, both of them, so they're actually pretty easy to maintain in the field, and I can show you in the video now me just honing it as in making it a little bit sharper after each use, and just how to do it with a Scandi grind. So when it comes to kind of the don'ts, all of these are very dangerous. Obviously, you know, again I'll show you in a minute the triangle of death on our leg, and where we don't want sharp things going towards. Also, out of all of them, that is the worst injury to get. Okay, so if you've got a sharp knife and you've got a sharp axe, you'll have a clean cut to a point. Okay, this will shred your skin if you catch yourself. So really, this is the worst injury, you know, in my eyes. Obviously, you chop a finger off, it's gonna fucking hurt, but at least potentially if you chop it off clean, you can get it put back on if you're near a hospital. So I find this is the worst one when you get cut. Now, when it comes to all these tools, a bit of a rule I use is don't use it when it goes dark. And the reason that is once it goes dark, your perception on light and all that goes, so therefore you potentially could be swinging or cutting or chopping it and you misjudge it and go into yourself. Don't do it. Not when you've been drinking. Obviously when we all go camping, we have a little drink, but make sure all your fire prep's done by that point, and then you can sit and you don't have to worry about that. Tired in a survival situation, if you feel yourself so tired that you can hardly swing, don't use it. That's what injuries will cause. Again, I'd say in a survival situation, your prep is in the morning. Prep, good. After you've had a sleep, you're probably going to find in a survival situation that's where potentially you've got the most energy, so to speak. You know, you've rested and you haven't then sapped it by going around. That's when I would look at prepping everything. So make sure you do that. So the don'ts are, and we'll put them here, is don't play around in the dark, don't use it when tired, and don't use it when you're consuming alcohol, in the sense of if you're starting to drink. Okay. I'm not a huge fan of these massive choppers. I don't think you need them. You can do a lot with the little knife. Like I said, you can split a lot of wood with small ones like this. You don't always need the axe. Like I said, I hardly use the axe in comparison to that. That's my workhorse. Again, if I'm doing Pacific cuts or I've got to cut limbs down, I use that. Other than that, I use this for everything. You know, so this is your main tool. You know, all the other ones are just nice to have. You can use this and have this and be the only thing you got, and it'll work great. Guys, that was a mega short one. Obviously you've seen a quick demonstration there, but what we will do is we'll go into more depth about the sharpening, the care of each blade. Also, you know, I'll show you that there is no difference between these two when it comes to making feather sticks. So that'll be one coming up this week. So we'll be doing that. Also, we're going to talk about the sharpening stone, and you know, this is great for in the field, but if you're at home and you've got wet stones, absolutely amazing. I don't. I've got a Lanxy one. Yeah, Lanxy one. So what we'll do is we'll go over that. Then second, well, the next video after that, sorry, will be we're going to talk about fire, what you should have in your fire kit, or what I think you should have in the fire kit, and how to use each one, and how to make a couple of sources of getting the fire going. So like your Siloom and cotton bud, or your cotton bud and Vaseline, or your tinder cloth. So thank you very much for tuning in. You all stay safe. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe, and please leave a comment in below. I will try to get back to you, and everyone have a beautiful, beautiful Sunday. Well, Sunday for me. When you watch this, it may be another day, but peace out.